As spelled out in the deed of subject, are agents of government and are to perform the following functions in each of the estates: maintenance of common facilities such as roads, drainages, water works, maintenance of the halls and etc. Provision of security arrangements in the estate, waste management, keeping the entire estate clean and tidy at all times. With this initiative firmly in place, we enjoin the allotees to presidents to extend full cooperation to the managing agent in the collective interest of the allotees, so presidents and the state government. Establishment of housing cooperative groups. Government appreciates the fact that if the needs of our people on the provision of affordable houses, especially for the low-income group, are to be met, long-term funding becomes a central issue. In order to facilitate stress-free home ownership, Lagos State Ministry of Housing established a housing cooperative society, an initiative designed to provide houses for civil servants in the state. It is significant to state that the initiative is already yielding desired results. Letters of allocation have been issued to the first batch of beneficiaries who have secured 48 million naira loan through a primary mortgage institution. Presently, this initiative has been extended to market groups, and about 20 market leaders have been proposed as beneficiaries of the second batch of the housing cooperative, arrangement which we hope can be replicated on a wider scale among market groups and other public interest groups. The state government is considering the possibility of resuming remittance of deductions from worker salaries to the National Housing Fund, provided civil servants in the state will benefit from the fund, that is the NHF fund. In this regard, we want to implore the Federal Mortgage Bank to put things in order so that the public will once again regain confidence in the scheme, in the fund. It is rather unfortunate that we have to live with the monopoly of the secondary market institution. However, this monopoly should be converted into strength by ensuring that the funds are available for the benefit of the people within the reasonable period of time.
Revenue generation. The efforts of government to make the state self-sustaining in internally generated revenue has continued to witness tremendous progress. Since the inception of the administration of His Excellency the Governor, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1999 to date, the IGR profile of the state has increased about sixfold. The state has attained an average internal revenue of 3.5 billion monthly, as against an average internal revenue of 600 million in 1999. More interestingly and worthy of note is the rapid growth in IGR attained since my assumption of office as Commissioner of Finance in the last 1 year. On assuming office in February 2004, the IGR stood at 2.4 billion. However, I'm happy to report that the revenue generated internally as of February of this year was 3.5 billion, as against 2.4 billion in February 2004. This represents a 46% increase during the period under review. This obvious impressive performance has been made possible through a number of proactive measures that the present administration has continued to put in place from time to time, and the sheer determination of all stakeholders to ensure the success of these innovative and valuable programs of government. Some of these measures have been highlighted in the past, and they include the introduction of the electronic banking system by the state government, restoration of amenities and quality improvement projects, sustainable land development scheme, the land use charge, the sales tax, and the introduction of electronic tax clearance cards. Still on the measures being put in place to increase the IGR, I wish to state that the ministry is not resting on its oars, as there is a conscious and renewed effort geared towards ensuring the realization of a minimum monthly average of 5 billion IGR this year. I need to also mention that apart from being an essential tool of expanding existing database, the land use charge represents a huge benefit to government and the citizenry by way of reliable and accurate information, capacity building, and employment opportunities. It is also important to mention at this point that revenue collected under the land use charge scheme was distributed in December 2004 to the entire 57 local government areas in the state without the state government sharing from the proceeds. This was done at the instance of His Excellency Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ameliorate and cushion the suffering and hardship imposed on the 57 local government areas in view of the continued withholding of the local government funds by the federal government. Automation of tax-related security documents and electronic tax clearance certificates, ETCC. In our drive to further enhance the revenue generation efforts of the government and transform the revenue generation process, the ministry, in conjunction with its revenue consultant, Mr. Alpha Beta Consulting Limited, introduced and launched a new tax regime through the use of electronic tax clearance certificates and automation of receipts, of revenue receipts during the year. This is part of the transformation of our processes from manual to a computerized system, which is fully aimed at maximizing the gains of the global computerization project, e-governance of the present administration. It is pertinent to mention that before the use of the automated revenue receipt, revenue collection by the Lagos State Board of Internal Revenue was done with the aid of 7 different types of receipts with its attendant inefficiencies and wastage. However, the introduction and implementation of the automated revenue receipts has resulted in an efficient and economic means of driving the revenue generation of the state, while at the same time ensuring a high level of integrity in our process, as it has significantly led to a better control over revenue receipts and blocking of leakages in the system. The government has recently commenced the issuance of the ETCC in form of smart cards to taxpayers in the state. This has hitherto replaced the paper-based tax clearance certificates in use throughout Lagos State. The ETCC shall be issued once every 3 years and subject to annual validation of payment made by the taxpayer. Furthermore, individual residents in the state as well as corporate entities are now required to carry this ETCC and CTCC respectively to serve as evidence of compliance with the prevailing applicable tax legislation. With the automation of the revenue generation process and the implementation of the ETCC, the following benefits accruable to the state and the citizenry include prompt issuance of ETCC, elimination of forgery and impersonation, unique identification for all taxpayers, closure of existing tax evasion loopholes, rapid identification of taxpayers, and improved service delivery. Another key aspect of the e-governance process is that all information related to tax status of taxpayers can be accessed on the official website of the Lagos State Government. Furthermore, in order to ensure easy understanding of the ETCC process, the Ministry has concluded plans to carry out regular public enlightenment campaign programs, the Sustainable Land Development Program. As part of the efforts of the government to further provide support to Lagosians, His Excellency Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu has further rejuvenated the Sustainable Land Development Program by adding more schemes to the project. This will further encourage occupiers of government land in more locations in the state to apply for certificates of occupancy through ratification process and become the owners of such land after paying the applicable fees. While this process is to ensure that the state generates the much needed revenue from such land, these illegal occupants of government lands are safe the risk of demolition of properties in the future. Governor's consent on land matters. The government has fully implemented a new and swift procedure for the processing of consent files in Lagos State by creating a dedicated desk at Lands Department to handle all issues related to government consent on land matters. Through this approach, the entire procedure for processing of consent files has been reduced to a maximum cycle of 30 days. In addition, the total fees payable on consent has been brought down from 35% to 15%, all inclusive. While it is envisaged that revenue will accrue to the state in this regard, the major thrust of this action is to further improve on our services to Lagosians. I hereby call on financial institutions, most especially banks, to take advantage of this new initiative to perfect the title documents in their custody at this very minimum cost. Taxes from informal sector. As mentioned during my press briefing last year, the ministry commenced an aggressive effort to make those employed in the informal sector, including all cadres of professional groups, pay tax to further enhance our revenue base. Our efforts at ensuring that potential taxpayers are brought into the tax net have been largely successful so far, and the ministry is also working hard on the strategy to further improve on the milestones achieved to date. Towards this end, various groups of artisans and market women have started to pay their taxes of 2,500 naira per head. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank most especially the workers, the Road Transport Workers Union, as well as the Road Transport Employers Association in Lagos State for their support for this new initiative. Members of the association have been paying their 2,500, and we shall soon commence the issuance of the ETCC to all the people in this category. Enforcement and prosecution of tax defaulters. In order to ensure that all eligible citizens and corporate organizations fulfill their statutory tax obligations to Lagos State, the ministry has commenced immediate recovery and prosecution of tax defaulters after all due processes have been concluded. For the avoidance of doubt, we shall ensure that names of tax defaulters, both corporate and individuals, are published in the print and electronic media, while enforcement of all tax laws shall be vigorously pursued this year.